So this interview is on former inmates and transition and belief on change. So my first question to you is, have you used any programs that assisted you in transitioning from prison to work? For example, vocational rehab, halfway houses, or that assist you in like education programs?
I used vocational rehab.
Vocational rehab? And what did you like about it?
Learning something new.
And so learning something new is one of your likes. And how about your dislikes? What did you dislike about the program?
What I didn't like about the program is I felt that the program was rushed, not properly funded. They kind of push you through it really fast. So even though you're learning something new, you're not really learning it in depth, if that makes sense.
And so since the program was rushed and you feel like you didn't learn that much, did it have any outcome on you, like your behaviors and being able to change or transition into like work?
Yeah. I don't like those kind of programs for the fact that because they are rushed, first off, you go into them feeling you feel kind of stupid or you feel kind of inadequate. But going into a program like that that's condensed, instead of going step by step and learning it in depth, they rush it. So even though you can get your certification or degree or whatever it is, because you learned it so fast and it was so rushed that you don't really absorb all the information. So when you go out and you try to get a job next to someone who did a course like at Healed or whatever, you feel like they have more knowledge. So if you felt inadequate before you went in, you kind of feel more inadequate after. Because now you're feeling like, I went through the same program as them, how come I don't retain all this information? So it kind of makes you feel more stupid.
So you believe you felt stupid going into the program, and by them rushing you, the outcome of the program, you feel like inadequate, and you feel like you would face up to your competition.
Right.
You wouldn't be as educated as your competition.
Well, because, they have more knowledge, but you don't stop and think, well, their program was 18 months, whereas mine was 5.
Exactly.
So you start thinking, if we both have the same certification, why do they know more than me? Am I just not as smart? That's how you start to feel.
So if you can change anything, what would you change to improve the program?
I think they should mimic a real institution, such as Healed or ITT Tech or those types of schools, and copy exactly what they do, same curriculum and all that, and extend the programs. Instead of just saying, here's your certification, go get a job. You actually learn it, and you're able to absorb it and retain it.
So you believe if they put more money into the programs and mimic institutions such as Healed or whatever,
right.
You would feel like you'd be a more adequate employee, or you can be
definitely
at the standard level.
Yeah, because if you start learning and you start absorbing it, then you start feeling better about yourself, and you put more work into it. It just feels, kind of Mickey Mouse the way they do it.
Okay, I have another question. Do you believe a person can change?
I do.
And what does change look like to you?
I think change has to come from within. It has to be you recognizing your flaws and your abilities and changing them for the better, to make you a better person, because you want to be a better person. And that to me is true change.
And do you believe that most change is due to pressure of society or personal motivation?
I think it's all pressure from society.
Pressure from society. And what pressures of society drives a person to change?
Well, society is structured in such a way that it tells you that you have to go out and work, you have to make X amount of dollars, you have to have this, you have to have that. And because of those pressures is why people change. Even people thrown in jail, it's pressure to not go back. It's society's way of pressuring you to change who you are.
And so do you believe without the pressures of society, would you still have the motivation to change?
I don't think most people would.
So you believe you remain the same without any pressures from society?
Yeah, I think, well, most of the change comes from society pressuring you to change.
Okay.
If you're a drug dealer who makes a lot of money and you never get arrested, would you change? You would just keep selling drugs. You change when you get caught and you lose everything. And society tells you, you keep doing this, we're going to keep throwing you in jail. So then you're forced to change.
And last question, do you have any fear of change?
I do. I don't, but most people do.
And what fears do you believe?
I think it goes back to people feeling inadequate. They feel that if they change, they're going to fail. And so to avoid that, they'd rather just start out failing.
Well, thank you much, sir. There you have it. Former inmates in transition and their beliefs on change.